Hey, so as you can see by the title, I'm going to be talking about changing your name. So I'm going to be talking a little bit briefly just about how you might be able to choose a name, and then also about things that you should take into consideration when changing your name. So first of all, if you don't have any idea of what sort of name you would want or where to even start, you could always just look up baby names on the internet. Or even a baby name book if you have one that your parents kept, or you could look in a library or something. And then just have a look through all the different options, write down a load that you like the sound of or could see yourself being called. And then just sort of eventually narrow it down to the one that you like the best and you think suits you and the one that you would like. I don't know if you can hear that, but I think someone's being murdered outside my window. And if you find yourself being stuck between two names that you really like, you could have one as your first name and one as your middle name. Or you could even have a double-barreled first name. Or, I don't know, you could just flip a coin and let fate decide if you wanted to. Or you may be able to do something similar to what I did to choose my name. Even though I didn't really choose my name, it kind of, in a way, chose me when I was little. I know it sounds kind of cheesy saying it that way, but because when I was little, I just always liked the name Jaden. I don't know why or for what reason, I was just kind of drawn to it. I called my favourite male toys that, and I remember always wanting that name but feeling like I never could because I could never be a boy. And so I kind of resorted to just, if I ever have a son, I guess I could call him that. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is that if there was ever a name that you just really liked and was really drawn to for some unknown reason, maybe you could try that out. You never know, could have been a reason that you were drawn to it, maybe it was meant for you. That's all the kind of input that I can kind of suggest for choosing a name. Because like I say, I didn't really consider anything when it came to my name, it was just right there, and it was the first thing that I thought of, and it was the only thing I really considered. But on to some things that you should take into consideration when changing your name. So as I said, with picking a name and getting a list of names that you liked and sort of narrowing it down, I guess it would be kind of hard to choose a name without having an idea of what it would be like being called that name. So maybe you could try out different names of your friends or your family, try and call you by a name for like a week or so, and then switch it out if it doesn't sound right, or just try out another one to see how it sort of compares. But if you are going to do that, I think the best thing to do is to let everyone that you're wanting to call you that name know that this probably isn't going to be a permanent name. And just let them know you're trying out names, you're not sure which one would sound right, which one you think you could get used to being called. Rather than just being like, call me this now, because it could cause some confusion and sort of, I don't know, maybe just make things a little bit more difficult for people who are trying to adjust to the fact that you're trans or if you've just come out or whatever. Because it can be hard trying to get used to calling someone by a new name and pronouns, and it takes a long time. So if you're changing it all the time and they don't know that you're just trying names out, it could become a little bit confusing for them. So I think it's always good just to clarify that like, this probably isn't going to be a permanent name, it might be eventually, but I'm just trying out names right now, and it'd just be really helpful for me if you were going to try and sort of use a name for a little bit so I can get an idea of what it'd be like to be having that name permanently. Also, sort of on the front of people getting used to things, maybe don't try and change your name as soon as you come out. Like, don't, when you go and come out to your parents, go, hey, so I'm trans, FTM, my name's Jaden, can we get it changed legally now? Because as I've said in many videos, it does take a good while for people to adjust, and it isn't just a small little thing, it does affect everybody else as well. And things aren't going to be perfect and like it's always been that way as soon as you come out. Because people need time to adjust. Just like you will have needed time to adjust before you've even considered coming out to anybody. You kind of have to think about yourself, accept it yourself, really think, yes, this is definitely me. And then probably a long period of time of you going, should I come out, shouldn't come out. And so after you come out, everyone else sort of needs that time that you've already had. Plus throwing lots of big things out there and at them straight away probably isn't going to help. It's likely going to make them need more time because they're going to have more things to adjust to and to think about. Also, other people's opinions don't necessarily matter. If you want to take them into consideration, that's fine, and it can be a really nice thing to get people's opinions on things. Like if you're indecisive about a name, it could be nice to have some input from other people to make you think about it different and go, oh actually, yeah, I do like the sound of that a bit better. Or, oh, that is quite a nice name, I'll take that into consideration as well. But don't change your name to something that you don't like, or disregard a name that you do really like just because somebody else might not like it or has a different opinion on it to you. It's your name, it's the one that you're going to be called all the time, so ultimately the decision is up to you. And try to make sure that you're completely happy with a name before changing it legally. So I know it kind of sucks that your name might still legally be your birth name and you might not really like your birth name, but jumping into it and changing it just so that it's not a female name or a male name or whatever your birth name was isn't going to help. It will be a lot of messing around, a lot of changing documents. When you've changed it legally once, you have to change it, and then if you change it again, you've got to go back to all the places that have your name on file and change it again. Also, it does cost money, so if you're in the UK, it costs about £15 to get a proper, official deed poll online, but in other places, I know in America, it costs hundreds of dollars, and it's also a court case, so it's even more complicated. Here, you can just do it online, make a payment, it comes with the post. But also, I do think in some places, I'm not sure where, or if this is actually a thing, I just heard of it, that you can only change your name legally so many times. I don't know if that's so many times in a certain time period, or if it's so many times ever and they just won't let you do it again. So the best thing to do is to not have to change it more than once. So say like when I were like, you know, I want my name to be Jaden because I've always liked that name, and I've changed it to Jaden, and all of a sudden I went, actually no, I want my name to be Kyle. And then I went and changed it to Kyle. I spent more money, had to mess around, change all the other documents, and say there was a cap limit of you can only change it 2 times. And then I actually went, actually no, I hate the name Kyle, why did I even choose that? I think I want to be called Tom. And then I'm like, yes, that's perfect, that fits me perfectly, that's the name, I'm like, I'm gonna stick with that name, but I can't change it legally again, either for so long or forever. So what I'm trying to say is basically, it makes things more complicated if you're gonna change it legally more than once. So this is why it's good if you have quite a few names that you like and you're not sure about, to try them out for a little bit. And when you have found a name that you actually really like the sound of and you think, yeah, this is the name, try and go at least like a couple of weeks or a month and make sure that, yes, I'm absolutely happy with this name, and maybe then change it. I actually feel a little bit weird talking about that because I changed my name like only a few months after I came out, but then I always knew that was going to be my name, and it was like the first thing I thought of and the only thing that I ever wanted it to be. So I guess mine's just a bit different because I didn't have to really think about it. Alright, so that's pretty much all of the things I wanted to cover, all the tips that I could think of. As always, if you have any tips or anything that I haven't mentioned or you think might be helpful, leave a comment down below and let everybody else know. It's always nice when I make these videos and someone comments another tip that's actually really good, and there's some things that they've commented and I've been like, why didn't I think of that? That is like an amazing tip. And so people might watch these videos and go to the comments and find that tip, and it could really help them, so it is a really good thing if you just go down and give your opinions. If you liked the video or you found it helpful at all, please give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe down below if you want to see more from me, and hit that bell button so you get notified when I make new videos. So thank you for watching, come on my journey, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.